Picture this, right? It's late October. You've got newspaper spread all over your kitchen table. You're wielding one of those flimsy serrated plastic
Oh
knives.
yeah, the little orange ones that always bend.
Exactly, the ones from the carving kit. And you are just elbow deep in a giant orange gourd. So what is the very first thing you do?
Well, you scrape out the insides.
Right. If you're like most people, you scoop out that tangled, stringy mass of slimy guts and seeds, and you toss it straight into the trash.
It just goes right into the compost or the garbage.
For the vast majority of us, that is all pumpkin seeds are, right? They're just seasonal garbage to be dealt with before you can carve a face into your jack-o'-lantern. But what if I told you that the handful of quote-unquote waste you just threw away is actually an ancient, scientifically proven nutritional powerhouse?
It really is wild when you think about it. I mean, we treat them in a completely backward way today. Modern consumers are literally throwing out the most biologically active, nutrient-dense part of the entire plant.
hmm
And, simply because it happens to be wrapped in a little bit of slime.
It's just a texture issue. And changing that perspective, well, that is the exact mission of this deep dive today. We're taking a massive stack of sources.
A really big stack.
Yeah, we've got global agricultural journals, a really comprehensive, large-scale clinical trial out of PubMed, practical health warnings from Health Shots, historical Wikipedia data, and even some hands-on YouTube guides for gardening and cooking.
Covering all the bases.
Exactly. We are going to completely transform how you look at the humble pumpkin seed. We'll trace its 10,000-year history, unpack its incredibly complex biochemistry, warn you about the very real side effects of eating too many, and finally, reveal the ultimate scientifically backed method for roasting them at home.
Because once you understand the underlying mechanism of what these seeds actually do inside the human body, you will honestly never look at a pumpkin the same way again.
Okay, let's unpack this, because before we put the seed under a modern microscope to look at its chemistry, we really have to look backward. I mean, humans didn't just stumble upon the nutritional value of pumpkin seeds yesterday.
No, not at all. The domestication of the pumpkin, specifically in Mesoamerica, it dates back 8 to 10,000 years.
Wow. 10,000 years.
Yeah. And to put that timeline in perspective, early agricultural societies were intentionally cultivating squash and pumpkin roughly 4,000 years before they even domesticated maize and common beans.
Wait, 4,000 years before corn? That is a staggering head start.
It really speaks to how vital they were. Early indigenous farmers prioritized the pumpkin because it became the foundational base of the famous Three Sisters agricultural system.
Right, I've heard of that, the Three Sisters.
Yeah, they didn't just plant crops randomly. They engineered this brilliant, self-sustaining ecosystem. They would plant squash, maize, and beans together.
How does that work exactly?
So the corn provided a natural, sturdy trellis for the beans to climb.
Okay, that makes sense.
And the beans, in turn, pulled nitrogen right from the air and fixed it into the soil to feed the other plants.
Oh, wow. So they fertilize each other.
Exactly. And the pumpkin, or squash plant, its large, broad leaves, acted as a living mulch. They shaded the soil to drastically lower the temperature, retain all that crucial moisture, and just completely smother any competing weeds.
We throw around the buzzword superfood today like it's some brilliant new marketing invention, but I mean, Mesoamerican farmers essentially engineered this super crop millennia before the concept even existed. They clearly knew exactly what they were doing.
Their agricultural intuition was just remarkable. And, they weren't cultivating these massive gourds just to eat the flesh. They revered the seeds inside.
Right, the seeds were the point.
Absolutely. The word pepita, which you see printed on bulk bags in grocery stores today, it comes directly from the Mexican-Spanish phrase pepita de calabaza, which translates simply to little seed of squash.
Little seed of squash, I love that. And that culinary footprint, I mean, it has spread across the entire globe.
Oh, everywhere.
Like, if you look at traditional Mexican cuisine, these seeds are the structural backbone of pipián, which is this really rich, complex mole, or sickelpac, an incredibly dense traditional salsa from the Yucatan.
Yeah, sickelpac is amazing.
It is. But then you travel across the world to Greece, and you find people snacking on lightly roasted pumpkin seeds called passatempo, which literally translates to pastime.
Because you eat them to pass the time. It's so universal. You even see entire agricultural regions, dedicating themselves to breeding new varieties just for the seed.
Really, just for the seed.
Yeah, in Central Europe, particularly in Austria and Slovenia, farmers cultivate the Styrian oil pumpkin.
Styrian oil pumpkin.
Right. It's a unique, naturally huskless variety grown explicitly for one single purpose, which is to press the seeds into a dark green, intensely flavorful culinary oil.
Wow.
Across cultures, continents, centuries, agricultural societies recognized that the seed, not the flesh, was the true prize.
Which naturally leads us to ask, what exactly were those ancient societies getting out of it? Like, what's in there?
That is the big question.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because we are often conditioned by modern diet culture to think, fat is bad and high calorie is worse.
Oh, absolutely. The low-fat craze really did a number on us.
Right. But wait, looking at the data here, a 100-gram serving of pumpkin seeds packs roughly 574 kilocalories.
Yep.
That is incredibly dense. I mean, that sounds like a dietary nightmare.
It does sound intimidating on paper, for sure. I mean, almost 50% of the seed's weight, 49% to be exact, is pure fat.
Half the seed is fat.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And another 30 to 51% of it is pure protein. But it is crucial to look at the actual type of fat and protein we are talking about here.
Okay, so it's kind of like the difference between pouring premium synthetic oil into your car engine versus just dumping in cheap, dirty sludge.
That analogy perfectly captures the biochemistry at play here. The 49% fat inside a pumpkin seed is almost entirely the good kind.
The healthy fats.
Exactly. Specifically, polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats. We are talking about extremely high concentrations of linoleic acid.
What does that do?
Well, it's an essential omega-6 fatty acid that human bodies absolutely cannot produce on their own. And it sits alongside oleic acid, which is the exact same heart-healthy monounsaturated fat that makes olive oil so highly praised.
Okay, so that changes the context of the calories entirely. It's functional fuel. And the protein profile, from what I'm reading, is just as complex. Plant proteins usually get dismissed as being, incomplete.
Right, because they usually lack certain amino acids.
Yeah, but the data shows pumpkin seeds contain all 9 essential amino acids.
They do. And they are particularly rich in glutamic acid and arginine. Those specific amino acids are vital for cellular function and for promoting healthy blood flow throughout the vascular system.
That's huge.
But all of this premium nutrition presents a massive biological challenge for the seed itself.
Why is that?
Because highly unsaturated fats, like linoleic acid, are incredibly fragile structurally. If they are exposed to oxygen, they want to react immediately, they oxidize, they break down, and they go rancid.
Oh, so they spoil fast.
Very fast.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, how does a seed sitting in the dirt protect half its body weight in highly reactive, fragile fat?
It's brilliant, honestly. Nature rarely builds a nutritional vault without also installing a state-of-the-art security system.
Oh, I like that.
The seed protects these delicate fats with a massive, concentrated dose of antioxidants, specifically vitamin E.
Just standard vitamin E.
No, it doesn't just use standard vitamin E.
Yeah.
Pumpkin seeds contain a complex matrix of alpha, gamma, and delta tocopherols.
Okay, tocopherols. I need a breakdown of what those actually do.
Think of tocopherols as the chemical bodyguards of the lipid world. Gamma and delta tocopherols in particular are highly aggressive when it comes to neutralizing free radicals.
So they fight off the oxygen.
Exactly. Inside the seed, these bodyguards sit right alongside those fragile polyunsaturated fats. The moment oxygen tries to interact with the fat, the tocopherols intercept it, preventing the fat from oxidizing and spoiling.
Wow.
It is an internal, self-contained defense system designed to keep the seed viable until it can actually germinate in the ground.
A self-contained security system. I absolutely love that. And we haven't even touched on the mineral density yet.
Oh, the minerals are incredible.
Yeah, just 100 grams gives you over 10 milligrams of zinc. For context, that is essentially the entire recommended daily intake for an adult, all in one sitting. Plus, you get massive amounts of magnesium, phosphorus, and potassium.
And that specific concentrated combination, right? The high zinc, the essential fatty acids, the phytosterols, and those bodyguard tocopherols. It bridges a very important gap.
How so?
It takes the pumpkin seed out of the realm of just basic nutrition and pushes it firmly into the realm of actual medicine.
Which brings up the most fascinating historical application I found in our sources. Because this chemical profile, it isn't just keeping the seed alive in the dirt. It has highly targeted, powerful physiological effects on the human body.
It really does.
Long before we had double-blind clinical trials, doctors were officially prescribing these seeds. From 1863 all the way until 1936, the United States Pharmacopoeia officially listed pumpkin seeds as an anthelmintic.
And for anyone who doesn't know, An anthelmintic is a medicine specifically used to expel intestinal parasites.
Right. So if you went to a doctor in the 19th century with a tapeworm, they would officially prescribe you a massive dose of pumpkin seeds to physically paralyze the parasite so your body could expel it.
Which sounds crazy to us now.
The visceral reality of that is wild, but it proves that humans have long recognized the potent biological activity of these seeds.
They absolutely did. But, the focus has shifted since the 1930s. Modern clinical science has moved beyond parasites to something incredibly relevant to an aging population today, which is prostate health.
Right. Let's talk about the Grenue study.
The Grenue study, published in PubMed, is a landmark piece of research that really validates what ancient cultures suspected all along.
Let's break that study down because the setup here is extremely rigorous. They were looking specifically at benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, and lower urinary tract symptoms.
Which is very common.
Super common. For men, as they age, the prostate naturally enlarges, which squeezes the urethra and causes significant, often debilitating urinary difficulties. It drastically impacts their quality of life.
And the researchers, they didn't just look at a handful of patients. This was a one-year, randomized, placebo-controlled trial involving 1,431 men between the ages of 50 and 80.
That is a massive sample size.
It's huge.
Mm.
They divided these men into different groups to test the efficacy of the pumpkin seed. One group received a standard placebo.
Okay.
Another group was given a highly concentrated pumpkin seed extract capsule. And a third group was told to just eat exactly 5 grams of actual raw pumpkin seeds twice a day.
Just the whole raw seeds.
Exactly, just 10 grams a day total.
And they tracked the results using the International Prostate Symptom Score, or IPSS. A lower score means fewer symptoms, less waking up in the middle of the night, and just a better quality of life.
Right.
The data at the end of the year revealed something that completely surprised me. The men who ate the actual raw pumpkin seeds saw a 58.5% response rate in lowering their symptom scores.
Which is incredible.
Meanwhile, the placebo group hovered at 47.3%.
A nearly 60% response rate from just eating raw seeds is a massive clinical victory. But the most revealing part of the study wasn't just that the raw seeds worked.
Right, because what happened to the group taking the highly concentrated extract capsules? I mean, we are constantly sold this idea by the modern supplement industry that if a whole plant is good for you, a lab-extracted, hyper-concentrated pill of that plant must be exponentially better.
Oh, they tell us that all the time. But the data here utterly defied that logic. Statistically, the group taking the concentrated extract did not differ from the placebo group.
Wait, really?
Yes. Let me repeat that because it's so important. The highly processed, concentrated pill completely failed to produce the same clinical benefit as the raw seed.
That feels like a direct contradiction to everything modern wellness marketing tells us. Why would the raw seed work while the concentrated extract fails?
What's fascinating here is the undeniable power of whole food synergy.
Synergy.
Exactly. The mechanism behind why pumpkin seeds help alleviate prostate enlargement relies heavily on specific plant compounds called phytosterols, specifically one called beta-sitosterol.
Okay.
That compound works directly alongside the massive zinc content we discussed earlier. Both of them are critical for normal prostate function and regulating the local immune response.
So you can't just isolate the beta-sitosterol, cram it into a gelatin capsule, and expect the body to react the same way.
The biology just doesn't work like that. The beta-sitosterol, the zinc, the unique fatty acids, and those tocopherols, they all exist within the physical structural matrix of the whole seed.
They need each other.
Right. They likely depend on one another for proper digestion, absorption across the intestinal wall, and utilization in the body. When a lab strips away the fiber and the fats to isolate a single active compound, they destroy the natural synergy. The medicine requires the entire package to work.
That is such a massive win for eating whole foods.
It really is.
But because the seeds matrix is so biologically active and structurally dense, I have to assume there is a biological ceiling here.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you can't just buy a 5-pound bulk bag at the warehouse club and eat them like popcorn while binge watching a show.
No, please don't do that. The side effects of overconsumption are very real, and we have to respect our biological limits.
Let's talk about those side effects. Let's look at the digestive reality first.
Good place to start. We already established that 100 grams of seeds contains almost 50 grams of fat, but it also contains 18.5 grams of dietary fiber.
18.5 grams. I mean, that is a massive load of insoluble fiber to drop into your gastrointestinal tract all at once.
It is. When you combine that much dense fiber with a heavy load of fatty oils, your digestive system simply struggles to process it. The mechanics of your gut just get overwhelmed.
What happens then?
Well, eating too many pumpkin seeds at once frequently causes severe bloating, intense abdominal cramping, and significant gas as the bacteria in your gut try to ferment all that excess fiber.
Not a fun time. And we can't ignore the caloric reality either. Because of that density, nearly 600 calories per 100 grams, mindless snacking will rapidly pile on a caloric surplus.
Which leads directly to weight gain.
Right. And there's also a vascular risk that most people don't consider, right?
Yes, there is. We talked about how the amino acids in pumpkin seeds promote blood flow. They act as natural vasodilators, meaning they help relax your blood vessels, which naturally lowers blood pressure.
Which sounds good for a lot of people.
For someone dealing with hypertension, yes, that is a very positive side effect. But for individuals who already suffer from hypotension, clinically low blood pressure, consuming large quantities of these seeds can cause their blood pressure to drop to dangerous, dizzying levels.
We also need to flag the risks for kids and those with allergies.
Very important.
Pumpkin seed allergies do exist, and while they might not be as common as, say, peanut allergies, they can still trigger throat irritation, coughing, and hives.
Yeah, you have to watch out for that.
And for children, you have to be extremely cautious. The physical size and shape of the seed make it a severe choking hazard. Beyond that, a young child's smaller, developing digestive system just cannot handle that intense concentration of fatty acids.
No, it can easily trigger severe diarrhea.
Moderation here is not just a polite suggestion. It is a physiological requirement.
100%.
So what does this all mean? For the listener who is thinking about incorporating these into their daily routine for the zinc or the prostate benefits, it's kind of like water, right?
How do you mean?
Water is absolutely essential for human biology, but you can still drown in it if you consume too much too fast. You have to dose it correctly.
That is a perfect way to look at it. You need the right dose. And the American Heart Association has actually looked at the nutritional profile and quantified that exact dose.
What's the golden rule?
Their golden rule for pumpkin seeds is exactly 1 ounce per day. That translates to about a quarter cup, or roughly 28 to 30 grams of seeds.
1 ounce. So that is the biological sweet spot.
Exactly.
It gives you the necessary dose of zinc, the beta-sitosterol, and the healthy fats without overloading your gut with fiber or wrecking your daily caloric intake.
Right, it's the perfect balance.
Which brings us to the final hurdle, practical application. If 1 ounce is our daily prescription, how do we ensure we are getting the absolute best quality?
By controlling the entire process yourself, from the moment it goes into the soil to the moment it comes out of your oven.
Okay, let's start in the dirt. We reviewed a fantastic hands-on guide from Johnny O.E. on YouTube about growing pumpkins from seed.
Yeah, his video was great.
If you want to grow your own, he makes it clear you need to skip the little indoor starter pots.
Oh yeah, pumpkin roots hate being disturbed or transplanted. They just don't do well.
The optimal method is direct sowing right into the garden bed once the soil is consistently warm.
But he also shared a brilliant germination hack that saves a ton of time.
Oh, the soaking trick.
Right. Pumpkin seeds have a notoriously tough outer hull. If you drop a dry seed straight into the dirt, it has to slowly pull moisture from the surrounding soil just to wake up the embryo inside. It takes days.
Right, but if you pre-soak the seeds in a bowl of lukewarm water for about 6 hours before planting them, you completely bypass that waiting period.
Exactly. The water softens the hull and jumpstarts the embryo.
Johnny's side-by-side garden test showed the soaked seeds breaking through the soil about 4 days faster than the unsoaked ones.
4 days is a huge head start in gardening. And once that plant sprouts, nutrient management becomes critical.
What's the trick there?
You want to give the plant a single hit of nitrogen-based fertilizer early on to encourage those massive leaves to grow.
Because the leaves are the solar panels.
Exactly. But then you have to pivot. You back off the nitrogen entirely and switch to the shoulder of the street, a heavy in phosphorus and potassium. Things like liquid seaweed, fish emulsion, or blood and bone meal.
Why the switch?
That chemical shift signals the plant to stop growing leaves and start producing flowers and heavy fruit. It forces it to focus on the pumpkin.
So cool. Okay, fast forward to the harvest. You've got your homegrown pumpkin sitting on the kitchen counter. When you cut into it, angle your knife toward the center so the lid has a beveled edge.
Oh, such a good tip. That keeps it from falling straight through into the cavity.
Yes, no one likes fishing the lid out of the slime. So you dig out all those seeds, but they are covered in that notorious slime. The stay-at-home chef has the definitive culinary method for handling this.
Her method is flawless.
You put the guts in a strainer, run them under cold water, and work them aggressively with your fingers. The cold water naturally congeals the slime, allowing it to slip right off the seed.
It works so well.
And then, and this is a crucial step, you have to lay them out and pat them completely dry with a paper towel.
Because moisture is the absolute enemy of roasting.
Mhm.
If they go into the oven wet, they will basically just steam in their own moisture instead of actually roasting and getting crispy.
Once they're bone dry, you toss them with a little melted butter or oil. You can go classic with sea salt, sweet with the cinnamon sugar and pumpkin pie spice blend, or, my favorite, savory with a heavy Cajun seasoning.
Oh, Cajun is so good.
Right. But here is the ultimate roasting hack, and it changes everything. Do not just blast them in a hot oven right away.
This is where culinary technique perfectly intersects with the biochemistry we discussed earlier.
Break it down for us.
The stay-at-home chef recommends a highly specific two-stage roasting process. First, you bake them low and slow at 275 degrees Fahrenheit for 45 minutes.
Okay, low and slow.
Then, you only increase the heat to 350 degrees for a final 7 to 10 minutes to achieve that golden brown crunch.
Because if you just throw them in at 400 degrees from the start, the outside burns to a crisp while the inside stays chewy and raw.
Exactly. And this raises an incredibly important question about how we cook our fats in general. Think back to those fragile polyunsaturated fats, the linoleic acid, and their chemical bodyguards, the tocopherols.
Right, the vitamin E defense system.
Right. Those tocopherols have a thermal limit. If you blast the seeds at 400 degrees immediately, you overwhelm the bodyguards. They break down, leaving the fats exposed.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the high heat rapidly oxidizes the healthy fats, breaking them down into harmful free radicals and creating these really bitter off flavors. You are literally destroying the nutritional value of the seed.
But that defeats the whole purpose.
Exactly. The low and slow 275-degree method gently dehydrates the seed while keeping the thermal environment safe for those natural vitamin E tocopherols to continue protecting the fats. You ensure that the complex health benefits actually survive the oven and make it into your digestive system intact.
It's just incredible to think that a slight adjustment in your oven's temperature dial determines whether you are eating a complex medicinal food or just a handful of rancid, burnt oil.
It really highlights the vast difference between eating with intention and eating for convenience.
Look at the incredible journey we've just taken with this one ingredient. We started with a tough little seed that Mesoamerican farmers brilliantly engineered into the foundation of the Three Sisters agricultural system 10,000 years ago.
Yep.
We uncovered its history as an official 19th century tapeworm remedy and explored how modern science has clinically proven its ability to relieve the symptoms of an enlarged prostate better than isolated pharmaceutical-style extracts.
It's been quite a ride.
And all of that complex biochemistry is wrapped up in a perfectly roasted 1-ounce daily snack that actively protects its own healthy fats with the built-in antioxidant security system.
It truly is a masterclass in botanical efficiency.
It really is. And it leaves you with a final thought to pull on long after you finish your snack today. We saw in the Green study that the raw whole seed significantly outperformed the highly processed isolated extract.
The synergy is key.
Right. The medical magic was entirely dependent on the structural matrix of the whole food. So as our modern diet moves increasingly toward highly processed functional foods, isolated protein powders, and lab-created supplements, it makes you wonder,
Wonder what?
how many other ancient whole food remedies are we currently stripping of their natural synergistic magic just so we can package them into a convenient pill?
That is a great question. Because when we try to outsmart nature by taking it apart, we so often lose the very thing that made it powerful in the first place.
Something to think about the next time you're elbow deep in a jack-o'-lantern, scooping out those slimy guts. Don't throw away the best part. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today. Keep questioning, keep learning, and we will see you next time.